Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Pateros. It's great to be here. Beautiful day. Got a little wind picking up, but we're ready to go. So, without further ado, Debbie Meir with our national anthem, and Nick Nichols with our flag.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, where the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Debbie. You know what? Even if you aren't a race fan, you want to be here to hear that. And I'm so glad to have Deb here and to sing that. I know it means a lot to her, but it means a lot to us, just like she does. Thank you, dear. That was wonderful. You know, we have two gals here in the region, Deb and Cheryl Waters, that do this on a regular basis. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I get goosebumps almost every time. And it's so well worth it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I know we got J-boats coming up here pretty soon. I'm just waiting to hear on the radio that countdown, and we will get these youngsters out there. I will try and get you the numbers and the drivers. We got a number of young guns in this. We're blessed this weekend to have Gold Cup winner here to drive. We also have the latest winner in the Unlimiteds this year. Corey Peabody is here as well, plus a ton of other talented drivers and boats. Great to have them all here. So just waiting on the referee to give me the sign, and we're going to have our countdown for the first heat of J. All right, we have the J's on the course. They're going to do a quick prop test, make sure everybody's able to get up on plane. And as soon as they do that, they'll head back to the pit area, and we will get a countdown for our first heat of racing this weekend. J Hydro. These are all kids 9 years and older. Only one boat seemed to be having an issue right now, and I can't see close enough which number that is. All right. There we go. Now we've got everybody's been up on plane and ready to attack this. All right, that's Emily out there right now. All right. Yeah, that's a frustrating feeling there, and you can't get the boat to rock over, get on plane. And you'll see these kids doing all kinds of contortions, leaning over the bow of the boat, trying to get it up and rocked over. So we may have an issue with the propeller there. We'll have to see what we hear here in a minute. But a thank you to everybody that's here this weekend. Very glad to have you with us. Glad to be here. It's been a couple years. Last time we were here was pretty ugly. Smoke was so thick that, yeah, you could cut it with a knife. So Like I say, it's my privilege to be here and serve as your announcer this weekend. And we will do our best to keep you apprised of what's going on. The boat's on the water, the names of the drivers, and all the rest that's involved in putting this game on. So welcome, enjoy your weekend, and I will be back very shortly. All right, we're about 2 minutes away from our countdown for Jay Stock. About 2 minutes. I do back-to-back, 7 very quick J-Stock boats. Like I say, if you're a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, you've got a nephew, a son, daughter, someone in your family, a grandchild, they need to be 9 years old, but they can get into this at a reasonable price. There are a lot of boats around that could be had for a fair price. They can go to driving school, and we did not have the driving school this year. That's normally down at Silver Lake in Eatonville. But you can pay, you go to school, you spend class time, you spend the time and effort to get fitted into a life jacket, a driving suit, a helmet, and then you get to go out and run laps. learn whether you want to do that. And then a lot of times there are people that will allow you to, and your winner, Carson Kelly. Not a surprise, very talented young man. And like I say, I apologize, and I will have my eyes on next heat. Do a better job as far as getting these numbers. And it's not always easy, even with the bigger boats, especially when we get sun that's glaring off of decks and things. Manson's one of those places that's really bad that way. But as they get back to the dock, let them know. Give them a round of applause. They love to hear that, like all our drivers do. They do their best to put on a good show. And just like the adults, they don't always succeed. But they try. They do a great job. All right, black flag on the course. They will return to the pits. We'll get them turned around and back out. And then I have to look at my schedule here, but I think Vintage Large is up after this. And that it is. Vintage Large will be the next heat after J Stock. And you'll see a couple of real big boats and a couple little bit smaller boats, but what we would call this weekend Vintage Large. All right. All right. Sport C to the water, please. Sport C. All right, with black flag on the course, so we'll bring the other three boats in. Mr. Labree's a little loaded up there, but I see Travis trying to get down to the dock as quick as he can. I know he's concerned about his dad, rightfully so. But as we say, Region 10 has the best rescue people in the country. And for those of you that know racing, you know that a lot of our folks are the ones that run and take care of the H1 folks as well. So. All right. As the Country Girl is brought back to the dock, listening in on the radio, we're going to turn the two remaining boats, Jim Labree and Sean Kelson, are going to turn and go back out. Travis has scratched this time, which is understandable. He wants to check on his dad. Totally get that. So they'll go back out here shortly with a 3-minute gun, finish up, and we'll put that to bed for the time being, and then we'll move on to Sport C after that. So we will be back here in just a couple minutes as soon as we get our safety, rescue, everything back in place, and we will have a countdown and rerun Large Vintage. As soon as John Arwine is back in position, we will have our countdown. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 3-minute gun. Green flag is on the course. Jim Labrie back out. Sean Kelson back out. All right. Got both boats out on the water. All right, and just talking to our referee, good news. Gordy's awake and everything. He has an issue with his knee, and he will get transported. But the good news is does not appear to be serious. The boat doesn't look to be hurt in any way. It does make you wonder, some questions about setup, and I'm sure that will be addressed. All right, here comes Sean Kelson coming by. He wants to give you the wave. All right. And TV Jimmy Labrie on the outside. That's beautiful. Henry Lauterbach. We just got to keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't drive home for lunch today across the lake or across the river there up to the Wrinkle Ranch. And for those of you that are here, may not have heard at the drivers' meeting tonight, after the racing, I think 6:30 is the time, there is an event up there that Jimmy invites everybody to. There's food and tour of the shop and all the rest over at the Wrinkle Ranch, as it's called, just across the way. And if you know where to look, you can see the shop from right here. But glad that's going to happen. Great family, and I know Ray Labrie will be there, and he would love to see you folks. So if you get a chance and you want to do that, please go and enjoy. We're a little early here, but like I say, in vintage, it's not something that's totally frowned on, but you can give them gas about it. You know, we've got, you know, Jimmy is a former competition driver. And he knows, you know. You know what? That's half the show right there. Jimmy being Jimmy and Sean taking the lead. As you can see, there's a little bit of boat speed disparity there. But that's the cool thing about this. And one of the nicest things is Jimmy, as fast as he can run, he will put on a show. And that means slowing down to run with somebody else. And both the boats maintain just a beautiful attitude as they run down the front chute there through the first turn. You see Sean hopping a little bit and some of the chop over there. And Jimmy's right there. You know, if he wants, he can bury him, you know, as far as passing him. But the point is to run in close proximity. They wave at one another. I'm sure they've even given each other the one finger salute at times in jest, but it's fun. And one of the things you may notice is the life jacket that Jim is wearing is different than what Sean is wearing. And I think you'll see my son when he runs tomorrow in the same kind of jacket. Jimmy's running what they call a shoot jacket, which was something that they ran back when I used to race. And there's actually a small parachute on your back. You have leg straps, wide 4-inch type leg straps on your legs. And the idea is if a driver is pitched, that the small parachute helps turn them around so they go in the water feet first. And you see that orange, what looks like a satchel up on his back, and that is the parachute. They have been very successful over the years. Not something they're running anymore because it's not necessary in most cases. But in the bigger of the vintage boats, the open cockpit boats, it's not a bad idea. We shouldn't be having accidents, but they do happen. All right, checkered flag for vintage 1. And as you can see, Sean Kelson, knowing there's only 2 of them out there and being able to slow down at that point, is able to come right back into the dock, which helps speed things up, get them back off the course. Jimmy's down there, is able to get it slowed down, make the turn. He will come back, and we will move on next to what I think is Sport C. Yes. Sport C is our next heat up, and we will have a countdown on that here momentarily. But again, let me reiterate, from what I understand from the referee, Gordy Gilmer is in good shape. He has a knee issue, but that's understandable. And Gordy's a little bit older than I am, and I got to tell you, I don't want to get pitched out. Definitely don't want to. It's one of the reasons I don't drive anymore. It's not something I want to experience at this time. But everything looks to be good, and I'm sure we will see him here over the weekend after he goes and gets checked out at the hospital. But glad to report that he's doing well. I'm sure Travis is not doing as well as Dad is. Totally get that. And anybody that's family is going to be worried. But thank you to our rescue folks. Like I say, these are the best in the world. All right, I'm hearing that we need a diver to the pits. All right, the course is closed. They're going to bring a diver in. We've got something going on, I'm not sure what, but we want a diver at the dock for some reason. So they will handle that, and as soon as that's taken care of and we get everybody back in place, we'll call for our countdown. And I will be back in just a minute to keep you apprised of what's going on. And had the opportunity in the last week or two to help with a couple of boats changing hands. And the more we can do that, the more people that come out and do this, the more fun it is. Because I can tell you it's a lot more fun when you can run 4 and 5 abreast out there in vintage than 2. And it's not that it's not fun with 2, but it's a lot more fun with 4, 5, 6, which we do on some of the bigger courses. So it really is a lot of fun, and everybody seems to think they're racing, but they're not. All right, we got about 35 seconds, a little bit early. And it looks like Wes Friedel, if he steps on it right now, would be in, and there he goes. He's in a real good shot to come around and be at full speed when he hits his start-finish line. Doesn't hurt to have a jump. All right, 10 seconds. All right. All right. All right, you see Mike White have to jump outside. Wes Friedel had his overlap, pulled in. Will Huff on the inside. Wes outside of him, just passing right now. And here comes Mike White. Don't be surprised at who wins this heat, because these are all very competitive boats, and they're all very experienced drivers. And Will Huff is right now, even though he's in second place, is really in the catbird seat as far as being in a spot to win, because he's got to go less distance than anybody else. And every time you move out about a lane, you got to run about 2 miles an hour faster to stay with the boat inside of you. So if you can imagine being out 4 or 5 lanes, you run 8 to 10 miles an hour faster just to maintain. You see how close Mike is there to Wes. That's a great picture, seeing those three go in there basically side by side. And it looks like Mike's got a little something for him, starting to pick it up a bit. That boat is very competitive, very competitive. And the thing is, you look at the attitude of these boats and you go, boy, the noses are really high. Well, I can tell you for a fact that's the only way they will run. You can't get them glued down because they don't have enough power to push them if they don't have the air packed underneath. Back in the day, the old boats were called packer boats. That's before the pickle fork. And in tunnel boats, that was just a recipe for blowovers, and they used to do it all the time. But they ran those, 100 horse, 200 horse motors on the back of 16, 17 foot boats, upwards of 100 miles an hour, and they were always going over. Some really interesting pictures over the years of, more than one boat at a time going over in the same incident. But the only way they could go fast was to pack the air under it. But we've learned, design changed. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of competition there. I know Will's not going to let him go if he can stop it. And you'll see him pull ahead again. It's going to be good heat, very good heat. But as I say, over the years, the designs have changed. Pickle forks came in. Late Ron Jones Sr. was one of the ones that really developed the pickle fork tunnel boat. And then Renato Molinari, his cousin Cesar Scotti, and Mr. Billy Siebold all kind of took it from there, along with Belden and a bunch of others. And now we've got composite boats, great safety cells, especially in the foreign built. A lot of boats are being built overseas now with a lot more safety involved in the capsules. The earlier capsules don't have quite the crumple zones and things that the new boats have. So fun to see the development there. And as much as I don't like capsules myself, they're a boon to our sport and have done great things to keep our viability of our drivers. Did you see the two boats coming off the turn? Mike White, Will Hoff. What do we got? Oh, one boat length. That's all it was. Nice heat of racing. Russell Meade in third. Wes Friedel, fourth place. All of them happy to be back out and running. They ran a few weeks ago up at Oak Harbor. Normally, in the good old days, back when I raced, we ran separate events. Once in a while we'd combine, but most of the time back then we had enough tunnel boats that we could run separate events, and it's just fun to have them here with us, to be a part of this great group, and glad to see. All right, black flag on the course. 1969-70. That was one of the earlier inboards that Ed Carrollson built. And right after these boats, and there were a number that were built like that, and they went to the Pickle Fork cab over right after this. Found out these boats are real quick down the chutes, and they turn a lot better than conventionals, but they tend to blow over real bad. So if you get a chance at some point, talk to Frank Schneider, because I know Frank has been over in the boat. I think Donnie Benson did as well. But those boats had a real propensity, as they go into the turn and start to set and turn, they'd pack a lot of air under the right side of the boat, and they would go pretty high. It's a great piece. It's beautifully restored. A number of years ago, I know Don Kelson had a lot to do with that, and as he has with a lot of boats. And the gangrene was actually Eddie Kelson's one of his original boats back in the day. The entire Kelson family involved in racing over the years. And a number of years we did a tribute in Moses Lake where we had, I think, 4 generations in the boats, all Kelsons on the water at the same time. All right. All right. As you see him come down for the start, you saw David Leach, you saw Ron Magnuson, and Jeff Schneider, all former inboard racers, and, well, I should say all inboard. They've all had racing experience, Ron being an outboarder, the other two both running inboards, but pretty good at starting for the most part. And Dick Clintworth, the final boat, the Madam Blue back there, is someone that had watched racing forever and loved it, wanted to be a part of it, and he bought this boat from Doug Whitley a number of years ago. Got a motor in it, did some running, then he blew the motor up, had some issues, and the boat ended up in my shop again, and put a new bottom and non-trip and air trap in it, and it was good to go for a couple years. And then early in the pandemic, in 2020, the boat was back, and it got some more work inside, all new decks, and then went up here to the Wrinkle Ranch and Jimmy Labrie, and he put a new paint job on it, and it's back more beautiful than it had been in even a while, and out there running real good with a small block Chevy in it. And that boat at one time ran a 4-cylinder Chevy in it, fuel injection, and the entire gauntlet of speed parts. And I know people think it's overpowered with the V8 in it, but I can tell you that motor in there doesn't produce any more horsepower than that little 4-cylinder did, running alcohol and all of the parts that it had on it. But a very fast boat. Not only is the Madam Blue, Mike Hansen ran it up here, set world record with it. I know they won National High Point with Dick Neeson as the owner, but also as the Mr. Bud. Don Mashburn, owner, and several different drivers driving the boat over the years. You see how well they go through there, holding their lane. And here comes Dick. That is a quick little boat. And when I say little, I mean little. It's over 17 feet long, but it's not very deep, not very heavy. But I can tell you from a driver's point, it's one of the nicest boats you can ever get into. The only issue I ever had with it, I was too big for the cockpit, and I got beat up pretty good in it because my legs didn't fit very well. David Leach in the Buccaneer. Jeff Schneider, Calypso, and Ron Magnuson in the gangrene. You see, everybody in the vintage, if they're doing what they're supposed to, their hand comes up to let the other drivers know. In the capsule boats, you can't do that because nobody see anything. But you see Ron shut it down, and he's headed for the dock. And that's exactly what we want to do. As long as there's nobody behind you, you're not impeding anybody. And you see the other two boats, they went through the turn, and they're able to make the turn, come across the course. They will get off the water quicker that way, and we're ready to go and put our next heat of racing on the water, and that heat will be your 2.5 stock. And I guarantee you this will be a good one. We have some of the best boats in the country, some of the fastest, and we got a large number of them. Not as many this weekend as we do some, but we'll have good numbers out here. So look forward to that. And all right, we'll have a countdown for the 2.5 stock here very shortly. All right, dealing with a little logistics again. It does happen. All right, everybody try and get where they want to be. Conrad coming across, cutting, trying, everybody's trying for lane one. I shouldn't say everybody. That looks like the 3 boat there, and that should be Corey Peabody, the Patrisco boat. All right, our score up is at 45 seconds at the back stressed from the start finish line. And as you can see, they're just slightly early. Conrad's, oh, he's going to be close. And they know what the clock is. They're paying attention. Conrad got hung out to dry right there. And I guarantee some people have got themselves in good places. We will watch them come down and make that start. All right, we're at 20 seconds and counting. Here's somebody blipping the throttle there. Starting to pick it up just a wee bit. All right, they should be on it any second. Here we come. It looks like Corey Peabody, Chris Paneras, Conrad Malmo, Austin Eckert, Dan Surface. And Kyle Davenport in the red. Corey Peabody, Chris Pateros, Austin Ekrit, Conrad Malmo, Kyle Davenport, Dan Surface, Austin's gaining ground there. He's getting closer every lap. Into lap 2. You see how light these boats are. Looks like Corey's got enough lead now. They're not going to be able to catch him unless things go south on him. Hard to believe that those little 4-cylinder motors will push these boats this fast. You see how light they are. Kyle Davenport, Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, and Mr. Dan Surface. All right, and your winner, Mr. Corey Peabody. Second place, Austin Ekrit. Third place, Chris Pateros. Coming around in fourth place, Conrad Malmo in the Crazy 8. Fifth place, Kyle Davenport. All right, Dan Surface in the Cobra Racing. All right, well, I know he doesn't want to be sitting here right now. At least not, he's smiling at least. But Sean Kelson's up here, as I asked a little bit ago. Either he or my son come up. So what happened, my friend?
Well, I took a big hop and hydraulic the boat and put a hole in the bottom. So there's a hole, it's probably 8-inch diameter hole, and filled her up with water.
All right, I guess the next question, because it's important to me and I know it's super important to you. You can be ready to go?
Well, we're working on it right now. I'm actually trying to find one of those siphons to pull the oil out of the bottom of the block. So rumor is Austin Ekert might have one, so I'm actually heading down to see him. And the motor wasn't running when it took on water, so it's turning over fine. We just got to deal with that and then flip the boat over and see what we can do to fix the bottom.
All right, now, yeah, I was going to say you're done for the weekend, but you should be able to get back with a little bit of luck so we can make our trip back to Wheeling.
That's the goal. Yeah.
All right. Sean, thanks for coming up. That boat is absolutely a monster and definitely can go faster than these other boats out here, but they are fairly evenly matched. All very, very fast, all very competitive, and all very experienced drivers. Chris Bertram, that Pat and Chris and team have gotten the engine together the way they wanted in that boat. Very fast boat, but they've had a lot of engine issues here over the last few years. You see Chris coming across right now at 1:19. Steve Huff coming across. Mr. Harnack is not going to be too concerned with them because he's not running for points. But the others are. All right. 1 minute. All right, Steve's a little bit early on that score up over there. As you can see him pull his foot out of the throttle. He's going to be real close. He made it. He made it. And now he's back on the throttle. And that's the problem with that kind of stuff. If you're early and you got to try and get back up on plane after coming down, the guy that's got the boat speed, if he's right there with you, he's going to beat you to that start. Steve's able to get back up and running, and there goes Chris Bertram. I think Chris feels pretty good about where he is on the course. Might be a little early. Yep, backed out of it again. Oh, here comes Josh. Oh, it's going to be tight in that first turn. And it looks like we probably got one early there. All right, that happens. If you're not jumping the gun once in a while, you're not trying hard enough. All right, Steve Huff out in front. Kurt Myers in second. Josh Harnack just blew by him. And Chris Bertram in fourth place. We'll see what Josh does this time. I got a feeling he's going to reel Steve Huff in real quick. All right, Josh is going to carry a little more speed up there. But you can see he didn't close that quickly. That's also something you don't hear very often, is Josh backing out. And he did flip the throttle down there in turn one. All right, he's going to close it right now. And there he is with Steve Huff. You see the orange boat just kind of hesitate for a minute and then take off. Kurt Meyer running in third at this point, which would be second for his class. And the third place in that class, Mr. Chris Bertram in the Cheetah. And Josh just nipped him right there at the end, about a half a boat length. Here comes Mr. Kurt Meyer. Kurt's backed way out of it. And he's probably going to, yep, peeling off, going to go to the pits, got his checkered flag. Nobody behind him. I know one of the things that was stressed was staying on the course until such time as you had a black flag to come in. All right, we have the Mr. Jiggs is dead down in the first turn. Probably bad choice of words, but the boat is not running. It stopped. All right, now you got it fired. Not sure what happened there, but you know, all kinds of things happen. We have kill switches in these boats, and I can tell you from past experience I haven't lost a kill switch, but I did have a parachute deploy one time at about 90 miles an hour in an OPC, and it's all you can do to hang on and not get pulled out of a boat. Not an experience I want to have twice in my lifetime. But Mr. Jiggs coming around here, going to make his way back to the pits. And hopefully we got our 1 liters headed into the water as well as our 2.5 mods. Josh Harnack into Mr. Jigs. And will be a legal starter for this heat. If you start after 1 minute, you will be disqualified. Juliet, one of those young folks that's really gotten involved the last few years, getting some seat time in a number of different boats, drives the Crazy 8 from time to time, also drives for Dave Lemon in this boat. And she's getting a whole lot better every time she goes out. So glad to have her involved in this and the entire family. Obviously, Juliet's not going to be there to make a good start, but I guarantee you these other two guys are going to be fighting it out. And Juliet picks it up a little bit. Gunnar Farrell inside. Austin Eckert outside. I'm so used to saying Josh Kohler. Pretty tight coming through the turn. We'll see how that Henderson does, and you can see him come up the back chute. Accelerates real quick. And then Gunnar has a little top end on him. Gunnar comes through inside. Austin outside. I can tell you right now, this is going to be 4 good laps. And I know Austin wishes he was inside right now, because it's definitely the shorter way around. He jumps off the turn, and then Gunnar just picks it up a bit. Fun to watch, and if you pay attention to the boats as they get to the turn and can see them from behind, they kind of get there and all of a sudden they twitch and they're gone as they make that turn. You can see that with the 19 outside. And I'm sure Juliet just saw a lot of water going by her. Everybody held their lane. I'm sure David was telling Juliet where everybody was. All right. All right. Austin looks to have just a little bit of boat speed. Don't count Gunnar out yet, though. If he can hold this, he's going to come home the winner in this heat. Austin Eckert in the Y19, your winner. Gunnar O'Farrell, number 2. All right, Juliet coming around to start her final lap as the guys are going up the back chute. All right. Yeah, I think she's trying to get used to running the boat again. And it's a learning experience. You know, that's a modified motor in there. Kind of motors they run in snowmobiles and jet skis. As you can hear, they're noisy. Not a lot of horsepower, not a lot of torque in them, but once you get them up and get them wound up, they really go. All right, Juliet getting her heat finished, and as we finish that up, we will get ready for the 2.5 mod. .25 mod is your next heat of racing, followed by Sporty. Yep, sportsman entry. And we will take a break after that sportsman entry SE. Get some lunch, get something to drink. I know I can use that right now, but we will get these 2 heats in, do that quick break. We will be back on the water. We're going to finish out the day, try and get everything done before we're supposed to be off tonight, and get ready for tomorrow. All right, we've got some boats for 2.5 mod that need to be put in yet. We, like I say, we have bottleneck at times with the crane. They're working on that, and just hearing from the referee, we will probably not take a break. Lunches are going to be taken out to our crews on the boats, and hopefully, because of our time down this morning, we will just turn and burn, and want to try and get our heats in for this afternoon. Give you a full show and not keep you here until real late. But we can only run so long, and they want the water back, so we have to abide by that. And I will take a quick break, and I will be right back with you. Travis Holt, Brad Sanchez, down to 1:17. See, they're all over the place. place. Everybody's got a different thought about how this should go. Michael Williams, the only one that was out of position on that. Everybody else behind the score-up buoy at the right time. Remember, 45 seconds at the mark-up buoy on the back stretch, and everybody but Michael was there. Michael's a little early. Michael, a rookie this year, did the dunk tank down in Tri-Cities a couple years ago, and within short order had a boat. It's going to get tight down here in turn one. All right, so far looks clean. All right, now you can see what a mod motor does in a boat versus a stock motor. Travis Olsh out front in the 9. That's the way it should be right there. See Jacob Malden coming up through the crowd. Jacob did a great job up in Oak Harbor here a few weeks ago, and he's back in a boat today. And I did see Jacob for the wrong boat. Why did I do that? It's Gunnar O'Farrell in the yellow monkey business. All right, one of the things that's happened this year is Travis Olsh with the modified motor has had a lot of issues trying to get the boat to run right. Jacob Malden going by right now. And I know that looks like it's a runaway. Well, when you see the amount of, we got 2 boats down right now. All right, Brad Sanchez up and running again. Not sure what happened there, but looks like Dan Surface up in the corner. All right. Gunnar O'Farrell doing a great job there in the monkey business. All right. Got a flare on the course. Michael, you got to get out of it. All right. Red flag on the course. All right. kinds of talent on the water now. Fun to see. Got a lot of folks out there swapping seats. Be fun to see where Kip puts the 17 boat in this setup. You see them coming with a full head of steam up on 45 seconds to that markup on that. All right. And as you can see, it's a little bit lumpy on the back chute with all the boats. One of the things to keep in mind, you get this many boats, you got a lot of rollers, a lot of waves, and the water gets real lumpy real quick. And a big thank you to David Leach out there, our flag man at this point. All right, here they come. Lenny Baker, Caitlin Shaw, Skip Brown. Dale Baker inside, Bill Strain outside. All right, there goes Caitlin. Guarantee this will not be a cakewalk. Caitlin's going to have her hands full. Kip's going to give her everything that there's there to give from that boat. Pop's falling in third. Lady Baker, Dale Baker, go straight. It's a good start, I hear from the referee, but real close. All right, here comes the Kipster. I guarantee you that Caitlin heard him coming. It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. All right. Caitlin opened it up again. Kip put his nose up there, but it just wasn't enough. And your winner's going to be Caitlin Shaw in the Catch-22. Kip Brown in the SE-17. Skip Brown in the 14. Excuse me, 13. I can't count. Comes Lenny Baker in the 25, Dale Baker in the 124, Bill Strain in the 156. black flag on the course. They will be returning to the pits. And after this, Sport C will be our next category up. All right, everybody, they played nice. They went fast. Nobody got in trouble. Nobody had any infractions, and they didn't jump the gun. That's hard to believe with that many that want to go that hard at it. That just shows you the level of the competitors out there. They're all very experienced drivers, and fun to see. Really fun to see. All right, like I say, Sport C should be next up, and they will be followed by Vintage Medium, 2.5 stock, E350, 1 liter, 2.5 mod, and Sport E again. And at some point, it sounds like we may bring the 1 vintage large back out. All right, we are on break right now, and we will be back here shortly. And we will get the program underway.